Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. So today I wanted to do a video. I'm going to call the subject, I don't know who needs to hear this. Alright. So first thing, relax your body. Let your breathing become full, natural. Almost as if you're just on the verge of falling asleep. You know how things just kind of just happen. Allow. The reason this is important is because many of us have lived a lifetime of fight or flight, stress response, tense, tight, shallow breathing. And so the more we can allow our body to relax and allow our breath to just happen on its own, the more that's a direct message to your subconscious that says, I'm actually okay. All right. So the topic for today is, I don't know who needs to hear this. And this video is really intended for anybody who's struggling, right? Anybody who's really having a tough time, emotionally, physically, mentally, socially, financially, family-wise, relationship-wise. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if that's you, this message is for you, right? I'm eternally optimistic about our ability to become aware of where we are, have a radical acceptance for what is going on right now, and then recognize that I have a responsibility to myself to seek a better future, to seek to make changes that will lead me to a better life. Now, if you've been following my videos for any length of time, you'll know that pain-free you means I help a lot of people with pain. But it's not just physical pain. There's other symptoms, and it's the emotional stuff too. Because at the end of the day, a brain that feels safe is going to operate so much better mentally, physically, and emotionally. And if you can wrap that in there with a little bit of self-kindness and self-compassion and care, boy, life gets a lot easier. So I don't know who needs to hear this. Number one, you're not alone. You may feel alone. You may look around in your life and say, I am alone. But there's countless numbers of people who are also struggling. You know, the Pain-Free You community, the family, is a community of people who equally feel alone, but find some sense of belonging in the community. And that community extends all the way to social media. So like on the YouTube channel, start reading through some comments, start commenting, start getting to know the people through the comments. That's a sense of community. You will not feel so alone. Same thing on Facebook. You will start to recognize the names and the faces. These people can become your extended family, right? At a deeper level, I've got the Pain-Free You group coaching. And that's where the level of community and family and belonging gets even deeper. You know, but I don't want this to be about a pitch. I just want you to know you're not alone. There's lots of people suffering. And that's not to say that's a good thing. It just means try not to convince yourself that you're the only one who's got these problems. I can't even tell you how many people message me, reach out to me. There's a lot of people struggling. And I know that. Struggling mentally, physically, emotionally, feeling at the end of their rope. And I really want to encourage you not to quit. Please don't quit on yourself. Please don't commit on the people you love. Please don't quit in general. And the reason I say that is because there is hope, and it's not false hope. There's legitimate, realistic optimism that if you start to understand how this system called the human brain, the nervous system, the pain system, once you understand how these symptoms function and work, once you understand that the brain's perception of either safety or danger is what determines how many symptoms and the intensity that you'll have. When you understand that, you can make a more rational, proactive decision to go, all right, all that makes sense. And it does apply to me. And if you've lived in chaos a lot of your life, yeah, this stuff makes sense. I think the vast majority of illness and chronic pain is created by a brain perceiving danger. That's not your fault. It's not something you consciously thought because the subconscious is running the show there. Yes, sometimes the conscious can play a role, but subconscious can make these decisions to turn on pain or symptoms without your conscious involvement, because the brain's primary job is safety and survival. If you feel like you're in a battle with your brain, that your brain is a bully, I'm here to tell you it's not. Just look at it. Just scientifically, the brain's role is to control the whole system. The brain's role is safety and survival, and it optimizes everything for those two goals, safety and survival. So if your brain is turning on symptoms, they are warning signals against the danger which it is perceiving. Right? Listen to that. Your brain's not a bully. It's not torturing you or picking on you. It's trying to keep you safe by raising the warning. And look, sometimes those warnings are thoughts. Hey, Dan, be careful. This could happen, that could happen. What if this happens? Oh no. And a brain that's been on high alert learns to be very vigilant. And that vigilance can come with symptoms, thoughts, heavy-duty emotions. But your brain is not a bully. It's not picking on you. It's not torturing you. It's really your best friend. But let me tell you this very clearly. Your brain's not broken. Your nervous system's not broken. They're working flawlessly. But you know what's happening? The brain is operating on fear and a whole host of misinformation. It believes you're broken and damaged and sick and ill and mental and everything else, but it's wrong. Given the right information and lowering the fear, your brain will operate better. It will operate this machinery called the human system much more efficiently, effectively, pain-free, much better, more level emotional status, much better emotional health. When your brain feels safer, it operates so much better. When you're terrified, things are kind of chaotic. And you probably feel that symptom-wise, mental health-wise. Things feel chaotic. So I don't know who needs to hear this. But if you're deep in despair right now and don't see a way out, I'm doing my damnedest to help you and everybody else who's suffering and struggling. There's a lot of people who are making progress with this stuff. There's a lot of people doing success stories. I just finished recording my 68th success story. That's not for Dan to brag. That's just to say this shit works. This stuff works, folks. I've never been more certain that perceived danger is the problem that creates physical symptoms and pains. Perceived danger creates that, which means the straightest line is, how can I create compelling, credible evidence that I'm actually okay? Physically, mentally, emotionally, how I treat myself, how I respond to symptoms. Starting to shift my attention from fixing myself, which assumes you're broken, towards expanding your capacity to live more. I've never been more convinced that this is the most direct, straightforward way to go from chaos to calm. From chaos to, I'm good, I got this. Life is good. And there's a lot of people who didn't want to be on this planet. And they're now recording success stories with me to say, I never thought I'd get here. And I'm thrilled. And there is life on the other side of symptoms. Right? I've never been more convinced of it. So I really want you to take a hard look at where you're at. And if you're deep in despair and hopeless, borrow my optimism, borrow my belief, borrow my conviction. Because I know you can get better. I know it. Mentally, emotionally, physically, I know we can all get better. I did it. I've been chronic pain-free for 14 years, right? And I know a lot of people who've gone through this journey not wanting to be on this planet when they got started. And slowly, over time, they get better and better and better. The mindset needs to shift first. There's 4 fundamentals to recovery. Understand what's creating your pain or symptoms, and even mental health stuff. The perception of danger, period. That's what's going on. That's what's raising the warning flags, the warning signals. But they're false alarms. The second step, determine, does this apply to me? Go to isthispdp.com. Stands for perceived danger pain. Isthispdp.com. Do the FIT assessment. I'm liking that one better now than the pain test. The FIT assessment, if you answer one or multiple of those questions with a true answer, then your brain is creating the symptoms, and it doesn't make sense that your body is. So, number 2, determine if this stuff applies to you. You're probably going to find out that it does. Now, I will say, the more terrified you are, the more consistent your symptoms are going to be, which means you might score less on these assessments than you would if you weren't quite as terrified. So I wouldn't write it off. Try to connect the dots in your life. Has my life been chaotic? Have I lived in a lot of stress and fear and anxiety? It's likely that your symptoms are being created by a brain perceiving danger. So step 1, understand how the system works. Step 2, determine if that applies to you. Some of that's intuition and gut. Some people hear about this stuff and go, that's me. They don't need an assessment. They just say, that's me, right? If that's you, trust that gut feeling. But take the assessments if you'd like. Isthispdp.com. Now, the third fundamental is knowing that there is a solution. There is a solution. Now, if perceived danger is a problem, credible evidence of safety is a solution. So yes, there is a solution. Fourth, most important, is knowing that you're capable of implementing these things. Don't convince yourself that I'm too far gone, I'm too anxious, the symptoms hurt too much, they've been around for too long. I've been trying this TMS mind-body stuff for years and it hasn't worked yet. So what? So what? That doesn't mean you won't get better. So what? I knew about Sarna for 12 years before I cracked the code and was able to get out of this. I made every mistake possible. If you want to know what that is, go to painfreeyou.com, enter your email, and download the 11 mistakes document. I made every one of them. That's why I was able to write that document. And I see tons of people doing that. That doesn't mean you're screwing up. It just means that by default, the mistakes there are our natural response. We have to learn how the system works, learn what's going to reverse it, and then proactively stop making these things that we can refer to as mistakes, but they're not. It's just a default fear response. And with this proactive intention and commitment and conviction to say, darn it, I am capable of getting better, you can get better. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but please don't give up. Please realize you're not alone. Even if you're not able to afford the group or don't want to be in that group setting, read the comments on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're playing along. Don't let them trigger you. Let them inspire you. There's a lot of wonderful people out there who are cheering each other on. You're not alone. Even if your family, friends, the people in your life don't get you, don't understand you, are looking at you going, you're crazy, go to the doctor. What do you mean this mind-body stuff? Get real. A lot of people in my life didn't understand this, didn't agree with me when I was stuck on the floor for 14 hours. I said, do not call the ambulance. I knew that wouldn't have done anything. They would have tortured me getting me there because it would have hurt so much because every movement created a spasm. Then I would have gotten to the hospital and they'd be like, here's some medication, here's some drugs, go home. I knew it would have been a wasted trip. I at least had that conviction. But look, don't let your family convince you that you're nuts. This stuff works. And if you understand how the system works and you've done the analysis, the assessments to determine that this is what's going on, there is a solution. You're in the middle of it by watching these videos, and you are capable of doing it. You're not alone. So get into the comments on YouTube and Facebook. And if you really want to step up the level of support you can get, join the group. If you can't afford it, people are getting better anyway. Go to dansfaststart.com. It's literally like a several $100 video course for free on my YouTube channel. dansfaststart.com. I have people saying that watching those series of videos was the turning point, the game changer for them. I'm giving it away. You don't need money to do this stuff, folks. As a matter of fact, of the 68 success stories that I've got, I would probably say at least 50% of them, probably more, have not paid me a dime. But they still credit me and the concepts I teach daily for well over 4.5 years for really being the turning point for them. Again, I've never been more convinced that this is the most straightforward way with the least amount of complexity. Perceived danger is a problem. Creating credible evidence of safety is the solution. And I map it out in the Fast Start playlist. I map it out in my daily videos every single day. Watch them. But don't just watch them because Dan's interesting. Good job, Dan. Interesting video. No. Watch them and say, how can I implement this stuff today? How can I start to incorporate this into who I am, how I'm navigating the world? Look, folks, this is not false hope. This is not anything other than how this stuff really works. And once you understand it, you can work within the framework of how this system called the human body and the brain functions. You can work within that framework to change things and to improve mentally, physically, emotionally, even spiritually as to how you treat yourself. You know, if you're the type of person who's been extremely hard on yourself, you need to hear this. It's not your fault. Those self-images were given to you by people in your life who convinced you that you're not good enough, you're not enough. That self-image is not yours. You didn't create that. You may have accepted it when it was given to you, but you didn't create it. That's not yours. You can drop it. You can give it back. You can say, that is no longer how I am going to identify. Start to see that you're a good person. You're an amazing person. You're on this planet. You know what the odds are of you being here at all? You know, when you factor in the number of people, the number of sperm cells, the randomness of, conception taking place, you are an absolute miracle. So if you feel like alone and that you don't deserve a good life, you do, as much as anybody. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but I will tell you point blank, I love you. I'm going to do everything I can through these videos, through the content, through the Fast Start playlist, through my group coaching, through the Facebook community, through the Instagram reels and posts I put out there. I'm going to do everything I can to help you and support you. You're awesome. You belong. I love you. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you are not alone. And I've got you. So, as usual, you're going to see me tomorrow if you're looking for me. Love you, folks. Talk to you soon.